In today's video, we're going to take a map tour of Brian Head, Utah, which is a small resort town located in southern Utah. All right, let's get to it. All right, if this is your first time to this channel, we talk about everything there is to know about living in Cedar City, Utah and the surrounding areas. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to make a move to southern Utah, I'd love it if you'd reach out. My information is down below in the description. I will respond, so don't hesitate to contact me. All right, let's take a look at Brian Head, Utah. So I have jumped into Google Maps to give us our Brian Head, Utah map tour. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I love to utilize Google Maps to give us an idea of the area and what we can expect there. I have Brian Head already outlined in red here, so you can see how the town is outlined up on the mountain. I am going to pull out a little bit so that you can see where it is in relation to the state of Utah. So you can see Utah is outlined in the dotted gray line here. You might have to zoom that in if you want to see that, but down here in the southwest corner is Brian Head, Utah. It is located between Las Vegas and Salt Lake City. Those are your two major cities. Las Vegas is about a 3-hour drive from Brian Head, Utah, and then Salt Lake City is going to be about 3.5 to 4-hour drive from Brian Head. Those are going to be your two major cities where if you are flying in from across the country, those would be the places that you would fly in, and then you would drive to Brian Head, Utah. You can also fly into St. George and Cedar City. The Cedar City airport does have Delta Airlines that flies into it. But keep in mind that those Delta flights into Cedar City only come through Salt Lake City. So that's something to think about. Now, as far as in relation to other towns, if we zoom back in here to Brian Head, we have Cedar City, Utah. That's about a 40-minute drive from Brian Head. PAROWAN is about a 20-minute drive from Brian Head. Those are going to be your closest towns. I have map tours on both of those that I will link down below in the description. We also have St. George, Utah, which is a little bit further south. It's a much larger town than Cedar City or PAROWAN. That's going to be about an 1.5-hour drive from St. George to Brian Head. All right, so let's take it back into Brian Head. Brian Head is a resort town located in southern Utah. It's actually the highest resort town in America, believe it or not, with a base elevation of 9,800 feet and a peak elevation of 11,300 feet. The population in Brian Head, Utah is really quite low. People that live there year-round and have it as their primary residence. If we were to look at an estimate based off the US 2020 census, there's really only about 164 people in Brian Head, Utah that claim it as their primary residence. So when we are looking at Brian Head, Utah, and if you are considering having a home there, chances are you're thinking about having a second home here or a vacation home here in Brian Head, Utah. If you're looking to live there, that's great too. My guess is you're interested in having a second home here. So I'm going to take it to the satellite view really quick so that you can get an idea of how green it is. Couple of things that I want you to know. You don't see a lot of housing right now. It is mostly cabins and it is hidden within the trees. But notice this big open area here, which seems kind of like dirt, as well as over here, same thing, big open area. Kind of looks just like a lot of dirt, like things are dying off. Well, those are our ski resorts. Brian Head is a ski resort town. So that is typically what brings people up to Brian Head are those ski resorts. Now I'm going to take it back to the transit map here. Remember, if we are coming into Brian Head, we are coming through PAROWAN, Utah. The quickest way to get to Brian Head from Cedar City is to go through PAROWAN. Remember, those map tours are linked down below in the description. When you are coming up to Brian Head, you are actually coming up the 143. So this road here, this is coming up the canyon from PAROWAN. That's the 143. And that's going to take us into Brian Head. That's the main road that's going to go all the way through the center of Brian Head. And then it will continue on and take you to places like Duck Creek, Utah, Panguitch Lake, Utah. But that main highway 143 is taking you through the center of Brian Head. So if you are coming up to Brian Head, the first thing that you're probably looking for is skiing. There are two two locations where you can enter those lifts. We have the Navajo Mountain and we have the Giant Steps Mountain. Both are a part of Bryan Head Resorts. So if you're coming in on the 143 up from PAROWAN, the first one you're going to hit is Navajo Mountain. It says it is temporarily closed, but that is because it is the off season right now, and so skiing is not happening. You're also going to come down a little further south on the 143, and that's going to take you to Giant Steps Mountain. Now, there are about 650 skiable acres within Bryan Head, and both are accessed by these two locations. They do cross together, so if we come a little bit further south here, and it's hard to see it on this map, so I'm going to switch to this one. Down here in this bottom right corner, we've got the Navajo Mountain. If we go further up the street, we have our Giant Steps Mountain. So that's where you're going to start off with either one. They both have the lodging there. But if you take a look at their map, you can see that the lifts are this orange line. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there was an 8th one here. So we've got 8 different lifts here that can get you to different variabilities on the mountain within the ski resort. And then you can actually cross over the 143 that goes through the center of town to get from one lift over to the other, and you can continue skiing here. So for example, let's say we were to start over here at the Navajo Mountain. We could take that lift up, and then we could continue down this backside and over. They have like a little bridge here. You can go over this bridge, so over the 143, and then you can get back on over on the Giant Steps Mountain and continue skiing over here. So I know that's a little bit messy, but I kind of wanted to give you an idea of how the mountain is set up at Bryan Head and what you can expect in regard to skiing. I will put a link for this map down below in this map tour so that you can access this yourself and see what you're going to kind of get here. So that's the first thing that I did want to highlight within Bryan Head are those two ski resorts. It's a little easier to see based on the Bryan Head Resort map. Another thing that I wanted to note on the map, and a reason why a lot of people visit Bryan Head, is for Cedar Breaks National Monument. Cedar Breaks National Monument is to the south of Bryan Head. So if we scroll in here a little bit, you can see Bryan Head is still outlined in red. If you continue down the 143 south, you're going to get to that national monument. Now there is a lookout here where you can go out and you can see this canyon. It's a half-mile deep gorge with stunning red rocks. It's really absolutely beautiful. So I would recommend checking that out when you get there. And even though it looks like a distance here, it's really only a 5-minute drive from Bryan Head. So if this is Cedar Breaks National Monument down here, you're going to go to this north view lookout, and that's what's 5 minutes from Bryan Head. You can see the stunning views that you are going to get here of that lookout. Remember, I said it's a half-mile deep gorge. It really, really is just beautiful and something you're going to want to check out when you are up there. Again, only 5 minutes from Bryan Head. Another great spot you're going to want to hit while you are in Bryan Head is the Bristlecone Pond. This is actually a man-made pond that was added to Bryan Head a few years ago, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I've been going to Bryan Head for my entire life. This pond wasn't always here. It actually used to be a meadow, and to help water coming down the mountain, they turned this meadow into a man-made pond. What's great about it is it does have a walking trail that goes around it. You can actually fish there. They fill it with fish. It's a great spot. For the 4th of July, they have a spectacular fireworks show, and people line all the way around this pond. And what's great is you get the boom from the canyon, but then you get the reflection off of the water, and it's really just an amazing place to be for the 4th of July. I definitely would recommend checking it out. So of course, at the pond, you can do kayaking, you can do fishing, you can see it has stunning views of the mountains behind. They've put a little dock there, so if you don't have a boat that you can paddle out on and fish, you can go out to the edge of the dock. So also near the pond is the Bristlecone Park. You can see the pond is located right in the background of this. It really just has a nice area where kids can get out and play. There's a pavilion where you can picnic, you can barbecue. This can actually be reserved through Town Hall if you need that full space. And then it is difficult to see in the picture here, but there is a basketball hoop here. They have other amenities that they are starting to include. There's tetherball. fall. You can see there's fire pits here. It's a nice grass area where you can play. And in the winter, it's still fun to go over there, build some snowmen. This structure is still here, but the snow is typically coming a little bit higher. Another great destination you'll want to check out while you are at Bryan Head is Bryan Head Peak. It is located to the southeast of Bryan Head. You're going to continue on the 143 heading south, and then you're actually going to turn east on this FR 047. You can see it really only leads up to this peak, but this is a great lookout. It's at the highest peak of Bryan Head's elevation, and it was actually built in 1935. And here's a fun fact. My grandpa, his brother, and his dad actually did the masonry on this lookout. So it's just a tiny little stone hut at the highest peak in Bryan Head, where you can go up and you can see stunning views of Bryan Head out for quite a distance. Now, getting up there can be a little difficult. You're not going to be able to get there without a snowmobile in the winter. Of course, in the summer when the snow is melted off, I would recommend using a four-wheel drive vehicle because it is kind of a little jaunt up there. You could try to walk. Or mountain bike if that's your thing. That's a good distance up there. But this has been standing obviously my whole life. You can see it barely on the peak in the distance there. So that's somewhere you're going to want to try and check out when you're at Bryan Head because it really just gives a stunning views and is a really fun lookout. It's an old structure. So that would be my Bryan Head claim to fame, is that my grandpa and his family did the masonry work on this old building that's still standing. So yay. Okay, so those are the big highlighted places that I really wanted to check out. Now I want to give a little attention to some businesses in town. Obviously, Bryan Head is a small town. We know the population is small, but again, those are primary residents, meaning live there full time. The majority of Bryan Head is going to be second homes. And the main reason people come to Bryan Head is for those recreational activities. So we do actually have 3 sports stores that are worth noting. At the north end of town, we have Thunder Mountain Motorsports. So this is where you can go to rent snowmobiles in the winter. I'll actually take a look at their website. They also do snowmobile repair. They have tours, and there are even sales. You can do off-roading vehicles in the summer as well. So that is the first sports store that we have here that you'll want to check out if you're looking to do those outdoor recreational activities. Then towards the center of town, located near that Giant Steps mountain, ski mountain, is the Bryan Head Sports Store. This is right next to the ski lift at Giant Steps, so it makes it really convenient. Of course, these hours are going to be based on the ski resort, and if it's open and running, they do take a little break. All 3 of these sports stores take a little break in the off season, meaning when the snow is melting off, but the summer activities haven't quite started yet. So you can actually go in here and rent skiing or snowboarding equipment. You can purchase it. A great family that owns this store. Actually, all 3 of the sports stores, great people. I've gone in, met all of them. Really just happy, friendly people that are willing to help out, know the mountain really well, and run great stores. So they can help you out with anything when you get into Bryan Head. They're very familiar with the town. So that would be the second sports store. The third one, which has actually been in Bryan Head for as long as I can remember, and I won't tell you my age. I am older than you think I am, though, I can promise you that. The third one is actually going to be George's Ski Shop, and this is located more towards the south end of town. It also is located right off of those ski lifts. So for example, if I were to take this to our satellite view, notice we've got the ski lifts coming down the mountain here. George's is right at the bottom there before they cross over from the Navajo Mountain to the Giant Steps Mountain. So something to think about there. Those are placed really well. So George's has been there for as long as I can remember. Same thing, you can get rentals here. You can purchase here. They even actually have lodging. George's has been around for a long time, and George is an excellent man. I've also met him. He's been on the mountain for a long time. So definitely stop in there, meet him. If you want some more information about the town, he will be able to give it to you. So if you need anything for your winter sports there, definitely check them out. As far as grocery stores in Bryan Head, Utah, there are 2 general stores. There is one on the north end of town called Apple Annie's Country Store. This is a cute family-owned business that has been in Bryan Head for as long as I can remember. It used to be located where the other general store is, and I will take you to that. However, it is now located on the north end of town. It's a nice little convenience store that you can get small items. It's more really a general store where you can pick things up. If you want large grocery shopping, you're going to need to go down to Cedar City or pack before you go up to make sure you have what you need. However, if there's something you forgot, or maybe you have some snacks, or maybe you took a quick trip up for the day, you can find what you need here. They do have all the necessities as well as some fun souvenirs. So definitely stop in here and check them out. Now, the other general store, you're going to continue down the 143 more to the south end of town. This is actually located next to the Giant Steps Mountain. So if you come right off of the 143 onto Village Way here, this is where you're actually going to have kind of a little strip mall, and it is right next to the Bryan Head Sports that we talked about. There's a little strip mall here, and within it, you're going to find your Bryan Head general store. So again, at this general store, you can find the conveniences that you need. It's in a great location because it's right next to the mountain that you are skiing on or mountain biking down. In the summer, you can mountain bike on the Giant Steps Mountain, and they'll actually hook the bike up to the ski lift, and then you can mountain bike down. So again, it has souvenirs. It has any of those knickknacks that maybe you forgot and you want to pick up, and it's in a prime location in town. Those are going to be your only grocery store type amenities within Bryan Head. Now, also on this little strip mall here, we have a few different other places I want to highlight. We have the Mountain Peak Coffee, which is the only coffee shop there. Great people as well. I've gone in and met them. It is a very quaint little coffee shop, nicely decorated. They actually serve some sandwiches, some pastries. Definitely go in and check them out. Maybe some hot chocolate while you're skiing. This is a cute little place on that same strip mall. Also on that strip mall, we have Pisano's Pizzeria. My son will actually drive up to Bryan Head because he loves Pisano's Pizzeria. So of course, they're going to be serving your pizza, your wings, your subs. He just really loves it. But again, food is subjective. Try it out for yourself. I'll make sure I do a Food Friday here at some point because let's be honest, I just like food and I like to share that food. So in this same strip mall, there is also a Mexican restaurant here. I'm going to be honest, I've not been inside this one. I've not tried any of it, but I will add this one to my Food Friday so that we can check it out. But just another food option here. Those are going to be your real main places to eat outside of the hotels and the ski resorts. And what I mean by that is your Bryan Head Resort at the ski lodges. When those are open, you will have places you can eat in there, as well as at the Cedar Breaks Lodge and the Bryan Head Hotel. There's going to be dining in those where you can check out that food as well. Those are really the only two commercial places to stay in Bryan Head. The rest is going to be Airbnb or cabins that people are renting out. A lot of people will get that second home and then they will Airbnb it or VRBO. They'll rent that out when they are not staying there to help pay for that. So there are a few more things that you'll want to know if you are thinking of having a home in Bryan Head, Utah. There is only one gas station called Pay at the Pump. So if you need gas while you are there, that is where you're going to get it. It's located centrally in town off of the 143. Now, just north of that gas station are the Bryan Head town offices. If you are considering building there, this is where you're going to go for building permits and that type of stuff, or to see what the regulations are in your area. Keep in mind, some areas will not allow that Airbnb or vacation rental. So if that's something that you're thinking about in your second home, we want to make sure that we look into that for you. Now, towards the south end of Bryan Head, kind of near the Bristlecone Pond, right directly across from here is going to be the Bryan Head Fire Department. It's actually a nice station here. It is comforting to know that there is a true fire station facility up on Bryan Head Mountain. Now, the rest of Bryan Head is really going to be those cabins and those housing. And we can drop a pin here anywhere and you can see it. Anything close to the 143, or for example, say Bristlecone Pond, if I were to drop the pin here and take a look, this is going to be townhomes. So anything kind of close to that 143, and I'll actually drop a pin directly on the 143, so that you can see what that looks like. But anything you can see off of this looks more like townhomes or condos. Kind of give you an idea of what that looks like off the 143. Down here, this is where you have your general store and your coffee shop and your Bryan Head Sports. And this is in the winter when the snow's melting off. It's definitely the least most beautiful time in Bryan Head when they took these images. But you can kind of see that off the 143, that's what you're getting. However, if we go a little bit further off of the 143 and we're getting up into the mountains, then you're having streets that are just separated by cabins. You'll have a cabin, it'll be surrounded by trees, and then you go a little bit further and you've got some more cabins. So most of Bryan Head is going to be hidden up in the shrubbery. So for example, if I take that back to our satellite view so that you can see it, it really is pretty green there. But if I zoom way in, you can see these cabins, but when you get near all of them, they're really pretty hidden. So that's typically what you're going to find in Bryan Head are mountain homes within those pine trees, and then off the 143 where your town is going to be more of those townhomes, condos. So even if you're not building a big, huge, custom mansion type cabin hidden within the trees, you can still own a piece of Bryan Head in one of those townhomes or condos. So that's something to think about for you. The last thing that I wanted to note, which is really kind of just a bonus, you'll notice here on the east part of Bryan Head, this Aspen Meadows Club. This is actually a new master planned ski in, ski out resort portion of Bryan Head that's going to take place within the highest peaks of Bryan Head on nearly 2,000 acres. It's kind of a 30-year project. So definitely check out this website if you are interested in this. There's a lot of great information. It's going to open up nearly 2,000 acres of ski in, ski out neighborhoods. It is a master plan community, and this is going to be clear at the east side of Bryan Head here. So that is going to open up clear into this mountain. So that is something to think about if you are considering Bryan Head, Utah as a vacation destination. All right, so that should give you a brief overview of the town of Bryan Head. It is not large, but it is a great destination if you enjoy outdoor recreational activities and getting away from the hustle and bustle of the city. There are winter sports, there are summer sports, and there is so much beautiful scenery to see. Once again, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to make a move to Southern Utah, please find my information down in the description and don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have any questions about Bryan Head, Utah or another area in Southern Utah, please leave them in the comments or reach out to me. I'd love to answer any questions that you have. All right, until next time, have a wonderful day.